Hi, I'm Kyle McClinigan with The Eagle, here with our guest John Harvey Slocum to discuss his campaign for Texas House District 12. Thanks for being with us, John.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. Appreciate the invitation. Glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely. And so this first question is pretty simple, but also a really important one. Why'd you decide to run for House District 12?
I think like many people, I'm concerned about the direction of our country. It's also a time that my family, we were blessed to move back home to this district about 5 years ago now. And it's the right time in life and opportunity for us to take advantage of that, and just, I felt the need to serve and want to do more in our community, our home community. My wife and I are both born and raised here, and so we look forward to the opportunity just to do more for this community and serve this community and the people of District 12.
Okay, great. And what are some of the biggest issues facing Texans in District 12, and how do you hope to address them as their state representative?
Yeah, obviously right now we have a border crisis. I think that's a national issue. We all know about it, but it needs to finally be addressed. We've been talking about it for way too long, and I think the governor has taken steps here recently to stand up for Texas and stand up for our border and our rights as a state to close those borders and manage that issue. And I commend him in doing so, and I look forward to helping him with that moving forward. It needs to be done. We're in a great spot right now as a state with a surplus of money, and I think we need to use all those resources to do whatever we can to close that border and help our law enforcement, fund our law enforcement that has been way too stretched through this issue, to make sure those guys have all the tools needed to get this problem solved.
Okay, yeah. And speaking on the border, recently it's caused some friction between Governor Abbott and the federal government, and you already talked about it a bit, but what are some actual steps you think need to be taken in order to address the border?
Obviously not being in the room, it's hard for me to say exact steps that need to be taken, but we need to take all steps possible, and I think that's what Governor Abbott has finally started to take course to do, and I think we need to stand by him, and we do. We have a surplus of money in the bank, and I think we need to use that however we can to fund and make sure we do whatever we need to do to close that border.
Okay, yeah. And another headline issue has been school choice, school vouchers in this last legislative session. Right. And the last District 12 representative, Kyle Casal, voted for John Rainey's amendment that ended Abbott's last attempt at such a proposal. And so kind of all that being said, what is your stance on school vouchers, school choice programs, and if elected, would you vote in favor of such a program?
Yes. So everybody's aware I ran against John Rainey in the last election, so there was reason for that. But I do think that parents need a choice. I'm a supporter of parents having a choice in their kids' education, and I think that we need to move for that. I would be in favor of a bill that gives parents that choice. I think we need to make sure that we also fund public schools. I am married to an educator, public educator. I am a product of public education. My kids are products of public education. So I think it's very important that we make sure that our schools are taken care of, that our teachers, we do a better job funding teachers so we can have great teachers in the classroom that can control, classrooms and be in charge. But I also think in that competition breeds success. So I do think that parents need to have the opportunity to choose where their kids go to school. And so I look forward to being in that conversation and obviously having a say-so. And I think it's important that we do what our district represents. I plan to have teams of steering committees and leadership groups. And I would say the thing that I want to be most successful at is representing the people in this district, and by that being close and making sure that I am involved in each of the individual I want to make sure that I am engaged with each local community and have a very good understanding of how they want to be represented, so I can best mirror what they want and their needs.
Okay, yeah. And with states that have passed similar school voucher programs, or whatever the states call them, some people have been worried that the taxpayer money would go to like private religious schools. Are you at all worried about that, or kind of what's your stance on that?
We have to be careful not to create for-profit schools, but I certainly think it's a parent's choice. My Christian faith is my biggest foundation, and my kids in Midland. I said my kids are products of public schools, but for 2 years when we lived in Midland, my kids did get a private education, and I think the biggest value in that was the faith-based education they received. So I have no problem with that and state funding going to that. I do think it's okay for a portion of money to follow kids, but I think we need to be very aware of how we do that. I think we need to be very open to the fact that there are always people that like to take advantage of the situation, and we need to not implement something that can allow that to happen. So we need to protect, obviously, funding and not put that in foolish places, but we do need to create a system where parents are responsible for their kids' education, and that our schools, wherever they choose to go to school, are very well funded and our teachers are taken care of.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And one key point that was on your campaign website was the permanent relief of property taxes. So how important is that issue for you?
Yeah, I think property taxes is a big issue for everyone in the state of Texas. This past legislative session, I would say that was one of their biggest wins. They did a great job in changing some of the homestead exemption money and getting that to $100,000 per family. But we need to continue that. Again, I'll go back to the surplus of money we have. I think we're in a good spot to pay down some of those taxes or figure out ways to better use those funds and fund our schools and lower property taxes for everyone. I think that's a win for everyone.
Okay, yeah. And in your opinion, what's the defining issue of your campaign?
Yeah, the border. I think the stress that puts on our state, not only at the actual border itself, but anywhere. You know, you go into Madison County, Walker County, they're dealing with I-45 going through there. They obviously have to deal with a lot of the riffraff that comes from that border there. We are having to send our local law enforcement groups to the border to assist, so it stretches them thin and obviously takes priority away from our local communities where we do need law enforcement. They're staples of our community as well, and we need to make sure that we do all we can to close the border and get our first responders and law enforcement back in the communities where they want to be and where they live to protect our local communities.
Okay, yeah. And that was really all the major questions I had, but I did want to give you the opportunity if there was any other key points or anything that you think makes you stand out as a candidate.
You know, I think the people in District 12 are very blessed. I think we have some good guys running. I appreciate the two guys I'm running against. As everyone knows, I'm the son of a football coach, and it's the thing I'm most proud of. My family has a display here for 50 years in the community of the morals and values that we stand for. My dad, I didn't have an easy upbringing. He taught me to hard work and respect and faith. But he also taught me how to be a leader and be a team builder, and I think that's what separates me. I think the relationships that I have been able to make in my life over my business career in Austin and around the state, and my ability to bring people together is really the difference. I think that, to be successful in Austin, you can't do it on your own. One vote doesn't pass a law. You have to have a minimum of 76 in the House to get anything done. And I think that bringing people together in leadership are my best traits, and I think that will pay off when elected in Austin to make sure that I represent this community, that I can do things for District 12, for the universities. In this district, we're very blessed to have 3 great universities, and I think my ability to get things done will be my best asset when in Austin.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much again for taking some time to come and speak with us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it and love the opportunity and hope to see you soon. Thank you.